Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today I thought of a question. Well, I actually didn't think of the question. A couple of people have approached me and asked me the question, "Hey, Sea Lord, if you could only buy one premium in this game, what would it be?" And that's a pretty fair question because not everybody has money to spend on every new premium that comes out, and it seems that Wargaming seems to be really pushing out more and more premiums every update. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, this is a free-to-play game. They do need to generate a revenue to keep the game going. Servers, employees, developing the game. All of that costs money. And like I said, this is a free-to-play game, so buying premium ships and premium time, it's not a bad thing. It's a necessary thing to keep the game going. Because if none of that happened, if they didn't put out any premium ships, only put one out every blue moon, they wouldn't have any revenue to fund the game. So, one premium to rule them all. Now, here are the rules for this. I am answering this like it was asked to me, so I'm answering this from my point of view. That being that I am a battleship main. I enjoy to brawl, So, that being said, I am also, when I think of a premium ship, if I'm just getting one premium ship, and that's it, I'm looking for the following things. Has to have a good credit income. Has to have a good XP income. I would prefer it to be a battleship because I am a battleship main. That is a class that I currently enjoy playing the most. So that is what I want to stick with. Next up, since it is, I'm looking for a good credit and XP economy, I'm looking at tier 7 up. Because yes, there are premiums that are lower than that, and they are much cheaper. However, at the end of the day, you do earn more credits and XP at the higher tiers. So, from tier 7 till, tier 10, since there are tier 10 premiums in the game now, there's quite a few ships. Just off the top of my head, you have the Scharnhorst, the Key, the Massachusetts, the Alabama, the Tirpitz, the Gascon, the Musashi, the Jean Bart, the Kronstadt, the Stalingrad, the Salem, and the upcoming Alaska. And that's just off the top of my head. There's even more than that. Another qualification for this list is that the ship must be currently available. So I'm sorry, Missouri, you can't be in this. Alaska isn't out yet. So, that does whack. I mean, if we were including ships that weren't available, Missouri would obviously be the go-to answer. And the Missouri is technically currently available in quotation marks. If you want to keep throwing money at the Santa containers, you will eventually get Missouri, but I have talked to several people in game. People have thrown as little as $20 at the containers and as much as over $700 at the containers to get Missouri. It's a complete gamble, and it's not a surefire way to get the ship, so still, Missouri is not included in this list, nor any ships that are in the Santa containers that aren't currently available in the premium store. So that does narrow it down a bit further. So looking back at my requirements, has to be a battleship because I'm a BB main, has to have some type of brawling mechanics, or brawling ability. So me saying that, I know there are several, probably way more than several of you, right now already guessing what ship I chose. And my answer might actually surprise you. So for me, if I could only buy one premium ship, like this is it, just one premium ship, and that's it. I have to farm credits with this ship, have to farm free XP with this ship. This ship's going to be used to grind commanders for whatever nation it is. And my choice for one premium ship is the tier 9 French battleship Jean Bart. Yep, the Jean Bart. Now, why did I choose the Jean Bart? while most of you are probably wondering why I did not pick Massachusetts, because I have stated how much I love that ship to death. Well, I chose the Jean Bart because it's really, really easy to just do crazy amounts of damage in the Jean Bart. And I'll go through the pros and cons of the Jean Bart real quick, and then we'll get into why I chose it over the Massachusetts, which would have been my second choice and was my runner-up for the Jean Bart. So Jean Bart pros right away, she has rapid firing guns, and these guns also have a very high velocity, so while they are only 15-inch guns, they can punch well above their weight class. She also has the reload booster to increase those rapid firing guns to even faster rapid firing guns. The base reload on the Jean Bart is 25 seconds, and if you take the main battery mod 3 module, you can get that reload time down to base 22 seconds. Add Adrenaline Rush on top of that, you can get that reload down even more. More so to where when you hit the reload booster, you can have a 9 to 8 second reload on 8 high velocity 15-inch guns. That is a crazy amount of DPM for a battleship. Next, it has really good AA. It has updated AA from the Richelieu class. It has, I believe, all the AA mounts are circa 1950 rather than World War II era mounts. So really great AA. She also has really great secondaries. They are by no means German level secondaries, but they are still good, because I would recommend going with BFT and AFT to buff the AA up a bit. And that in turn is going to go ahead and buff up the secondaries. That you can roll with a secondary build on the Jean Bart, but you have to pretty heavily invest in your secondaries to do so. So I'd rather invest in the main battery guns and get that DPM on the Jean Bart up rather than investing in the secondaries. But even without investing in the secondaries a whole lot, they are still really good. Next up, all 8 of her guns are up front. You can battle tank and not have to show any side to get your entire main battery on target. This is really good because you can just stick yourself into a channel and blast at ships as they sail by, giving you their broadside. So now a couple of negatives on the Jean Bart. Her HP pool. It is still lower than her tier 9 counterparts because she is an up tier Richelieu class battleship. And her being a Richelieu class battleship also comes with her having the Richelieu's armor. It is very, very squishy if you get around to her sides. She can battle tank fairly well from her front from AP shells, but however she does have 32mm of armor all the way around. So she still does eat HE like it's nobody's business. Also, the caliber of her guns, they are only 15-inch guns at tier 9. That means that even, some of the cruisers, they can just angle to you slightly and your guns will bounce. Now, granted, against cruisers, the velocity of the guns might counteract that every now and then. But still, if they go bow onto you, you are going to be bouncing your shells off of the cruisers. And that's even more so against battleships. But again, the velocity may pick up for that in some situations, but, it does come down to the math that they are 15-inch guns going up against tier 10 levels of armor. So you will be bouncing a lot more shells, because they are 15-inch guns. Oh, also, she is a fairly big target for enemy ships to shoot at, especially if they get around to your rear, because while you do have all 8 of your guns up front, your rear is just covered by your secondaries. And yes, like I said, the secondaries are fairly good against, destroyers and cruisers, but when a battleship comes around and catches you from behind, you're just a big fat target for them to shoot at. Okay, so why not the Massachusetts? Well, Massachusetts is only a tier 8 premium, and, that's not bad or anything. But when you have a tier 9 premium with a tier 9 premium's economy, you can just make so much more money on it. I mean, and yes, Massachusetts is a great ship, do not get me wrong, but just the sheer amount of DPM that you can get on the Jean Bart and the amount of damage you can farm, it's so much more credit and XP income than a tier 8 premium. And also, unlike the Musashi or the Kronstadt, I myself have found that I can do much better in Jean Bart in terms of damage, in terms of damage farming, just because of the DPM that you can get out of her main battery guns. That's all it really boils down to. The guns reload faster, they're still mighty powerful, and if an enemy ship slips up in front of you, shows you their broadside, and you got, you know, and they're in the open for the next 20 seconds, you can easily shove 3 salvos of your 8 15-inch guns into their broadside, and you can sometimes drain the ship to well below half health, if not outright kill it in one use of your reload booster if you manage to aim right and your shells hit their citadel. That's another thing too, the shells are much more accurate than the Richelieus. They have better Sigma and better dispersion than the Richelieu. So, and unlike the Musashi, this isn't a down tiered tier 10, this is an up tiered tier 8, so it's much more powerful. So that is why I chose the Jean Bart. And again, for all the reasons I said, you know, just the DPM on this ship is crazy, the damage potential is crazy, you have good AA, well, not good AA, you have great AA, it's a tier 9 ship, so even tier 10 carriers that come after you, sure, they may get through your AA, but you're going to take most of their planes with them. And if you see a tier 8 carrier, you don't really have much to worry about, because the A on this ship is literally that good. Now, it's also a tier 9 ship, so it's not top tier, but it's going to be put into tier 10 games most of the time. But for those of you that don't know, you actually get a bit of an XP and credit boost when you do damage to ships that are of a higher tier than you. Now, this could also be an argument for this ship to be a tier 8 premium, because then you can see tier 10 games and get even more of a boost of that. But I believe the damage output on the Jean Bart does make up for that, so you can still just farm damage off of tier 10 ships. Even though these are only 15-inch guns, tier 10 ships shows you their broadside. It's no problem for you to just absolutely wreck their health and just get a bunch of damage off of them. And no, I am talking about farming damage, but when you're playing a premium to just get XP and credits from it, you're farming. That's what it's for. People do this. They have to, you know, people without premium, they have to go and farm lower tiers to fund higher tier gameplay. It's how the game is set up. Because if you could just play tier 10s over and over and over and over again, you know, without having some type of, you know, where you have to purchase premium in order to keep playing tier 10s without losing credits, there would be no one left to play any lower tier games. And I know if you do pay for premium, you can bypass this, and that might be why lower tier games, their wait times are a bit longer. And I've really noticed this when, I mean, this is a completely different topic for another video, but I actually went to play some like tier 4 and tier 5 games, and I was surprised by the wait time on the weekends too. But anyway, that's another topic for another video. But yeah, Jean Bart, if you are only getting one premium, she's worth it. I know she's a bit more expensive because you can actually outright buy her from the premium shop for around $80 US. Or you can actually get her for free in the arsenal via coal, and that's another plus to the Jean Bart. She's a potentially completely free premium ship, or completely free tier 9 premium ship. You just need the coal. Now, I know a lot of you are probably saving up your coal to get the Musashi and the Kronstadt before they leave. But, you know, if after you get the Musashi or Kronstadt, or if you don't want the Musashi or Kronstadt and you're saving your coal for another ship, I would very highly recommend that you get the Jean Bart. She's a great ship, and especially if you can get it for free via coal. So again, guys, that is my choice for if I could only get one premium ship. Let me know in the comments down below, what would your single premium ship be if you could only get one premium ship? So if you liked the video, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We're on our way to 1,500 subscribers. We are very close to breaking 1,100. So I think we're under 5 subscribers away from breaking 1,100 last time I checked. So again, thank you guys for that. That is amazing that this channel has grown as much as it has in the past couple of months. And again, just thank you guys for watching. I hope to catch all of you guys in the next one.